So what I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be changing the air filter for the engine. It's in this housing here, which you just unscrew, and relatively simple to change it out. And then under here is the this is just a plastic cover. It has no other function than cosmetic. So give me a second. There is the engine without the cosmetic cover, and the oil filter itself on this engine is conveniently located and it's relatively easy access from the top. You can see it down there. It's a 32mm thread on the filter cap, so I'll show you how to do that as I progress. So step one, doing an oil and filter change. Drive the car up onto some ramps like this. Make sure that the tires are on the ramps properly, they're straight when they're going onto the ramps, and that you don't drive too far. If you drive too far, it can be a bit of a mess, so avoid doing so. Other people use hydraulic jacks, but if you do so, you've got to put some feet underneath the vehicle. I wouldn't go underneath a vehicle and trust the jack all on its own. I'd put a set of feet under the vehicle for safety, just in case the jack decided to come down. So doing this is probably the simplest method for someone doing it in their own yard. And as an added sort of belt and braces, put some bricks behind the rear wheels. It may help, and obviously have the vehicle in gear with the handbrake fully on, and because you're going to put yourself under that vehicle, so you want to work safely. So some stuff I have assembled. I'm going to do the air filter first, whilst the engine, I'm going to leave the engine to cool down, or in fact the oil to cool down. It can be quite hot and you get a nasty burn if you decided to drain the oil immediately. So I have some rags right there, so important. I have a ratchet with an extender piece and a 32mm piece for the filter cap, and then I have a 19 for the sump, and I have a set of T torque pieces and some other bits and pieces for taking off the underneath cover. I'm just using a plastic bucket. Make sure the bucket you use is big enough to take the oil that you're going to take out of the engine, that you don't accidentally overflow. They're the feet I was talking about that you might decide to use to rest the car on top of for your own safety. So I have my air filter, I have my sump plug with packing, that's important, and I have my oil filter, and I have my engine oil. So that's me assembled, as it were, and now it's just a case of starting. So I'm starting the air cover, taking the housing off. I'm using an electric cordless drill. I have an extender piece on it, but beware, my piece for taking out the screws came off and is down there, so I'm going to use a magnetic spark plug puller, or rescue rod to get it out of there. But something I had to do to get access to this screw was I had to take this cover off. It's very simple. It just has a few clips, and you unclip it, take it off, and it's much easier to get in there for access. Yeah, so rescuing the the piece from way down there using a magnetic rescue rod, as it were, and now I got my T-piece back out so I can continue. So once you got all the screws out and put them somewhere safe, like there, where they won't disappear, the housing just lifts up, and there's the old air filter. I'm going to change it out, put the new one in. So that's the old air filter. It's a little bit dirty, and that's the new filter. You can see a clear difference, and so I'll put the new filter back in the housing, and then box it up and box up the air intake as well. Just to show you, that's the old filter, that's the underneath of it, so quite dirty, and definitely time that it was changed. But yeah, filthy old air filter, so good to change it. So once you've taken off the plastic shielding that goes under the front of the vehicle, you'll see this is your sump plug, and it's 19mm, so you basically have to open this. You want to run the engine for a while to let it warm up a bit, all to do with the viscosity of the oil, and then let it cool down for a little bit before you actually open it, so you don't get yourself a nasty burn. And make sure you have your oil receptacle ready underneath that sump to catch the oil when you open it, to avoid any unpleasant messes. $19mm socket on the sump, and just put a little bit of tension on it and gently get it open. Remember to let it cool down a little bit before you open, and have your receptacle ready to hand. There we go. So probably, yep, open it by hand now. I can feel it's warm, and all of a sudden it'll just pop off. There we go. Dirty engine oil. And I have the sump in my hand, so I haven't dropped it in the oil where it disappears. The plug, I mean, I have the plug in my hand. So, leave that drain, give it some time. I'm going to open the top filling cap, which will aid drainage, so there isn't any kind of vacuum effect. And that's it. Now we take out the filter. So whilst I'm leaving the sump to drain, this is the filling cap, which I've taken off and put somewhere safe. So this is the spill guard on the side. You can take it off. You can see there's all sorts of crud, bits of dirt and everything, which preferably should not go into the oil. So I'm going to use a little bit of multi-purpose WD-40 type spray and give this a bit of a clean. Don't obviously put a load of that into the oil, it's not good. So yeah, but that's what I'm, just to give it a bit of a clean around with a rag. So that's the spill guard off the filler cap cleaned up, and the filler cap bit itself also cleaned up. So, and now I'll put the sump plug back in, and it's changing the filter and then putting the oil in. So the oil's drained out. There's a little bit dripping. Just clean that up a bit with a rag. And then I have my new sump plug with the packing pieces on it, which is important. So yeah, put that in, screw it in by hand, make sure that it gets the thread. It should thread in easily enough by hand, which it does. So I get it as far in as you can by hand. And then move that oil out of the way. Just tighten up the last bit. There we go, that's the resistance. So I've got it hand tight, and then just a little bit more. You don't want to put too much on it because you could risk threading the bolt and then you're in trouble. So just that little bit. There we go. So that's the used engine oil, nice and black. It'd be a significant difference when you put the new engine oil in. But yeah, so you want to dispose of that properly. I don't actually have like an official, let's say, drain pan for doing the oil, but this worked quite well, heavy duty plastic. So you want to dispose of that legally, properly. So in my case, I'll bring it to a public waste station where you can dispose of engine oil and batteries, etc. So yeah, but don't dump the oil, guys. So you need to get access to the filter, the oil filter, which is in there. That's the fuel filter there, just in case you're wondering. Anyway, the long type, by the way. So fuel filter, oil filter rather, excuse me, in there. This piece here, you do not need to unscrew that, okay? There's a small clip here, and you just unclip it and it depresses, and then you can just gently take it out of the way, and now you've got access. Simple as. Right, I've got a bit of a rag ready. I've used my 32 mil with extender, and I've loosened it, and now it's spinning by hand. I'm going to lift it up and onto the rag and clean it out and so on. That's the old filter and the filter cap just come out, and I laid it on some rags, and so that's what it's going to look like coming out of the engine. So you have an O-ring here, you have an O-ring here and an O-ring there. The smallest O-ring in the kit goes there, second smallest goes there, and then the biggest goes here. Okay, so yeah, so that's the new filter on, and I put the O-rings. Remember to lubricate the O-rings a little bit, just a little bit of the used engine oil is fine, so that they go on smoothly. And when you put the new filter on, you'll feel when you push it in, and it will pop into place, and then it's secure, so you know it's right. So fuel filters, oil filter is back in, and that thing is just clipped back in. I've misplaced my funnel, so I put a plastic bottle, and it fits quite well in the spill guard there. So I'll gently pour the oil in, and it will hopefully go where it's supposed to go. So that's my oil to begin with, and I'll put it in nice and easy, and be checking with my dipstick. So there we go. That's the oil going in. Lovely, clean, new synthetic oil going in compared with the used black stuff. So putting it in nice and slowly, bit by bit, and yeah, that's how it goes.